Hey, good morning. This is Seth Keeping It Real. I took a single dime, I turned it into $100,000. It was very hard. There were great days and there were very hard days. And my goal on this YouTube channel is to give you tips and ideas and practical advice on how you can do the same. And so I'm going to be sharing some of my best tips and things that have helped me to take what was very little and turn that into 5 different income passive streams. So the first thing I want to talk about today is differentiation. Differentiation is super important. Differentiation in sales simply means when there is a difference between you and your competitors. There's something you have that's different. Have you ever gone online or on Amazon and let's say you're trying to buy a futon and you see futon and futon and futon and there's really no reason to pick one over the other unless it has higher reviews. But then you notice one futon has something different about it because they're offering 2 pillows with it and it only costs $5 more and it feels like so much of a better deal. Now, did you know that the supplier probably only got those pillows probably cost them like 25 cents because they probably bought them in mass quantity from the factory. So if you were starting off with a new product that is already in Amazon but it's new to you and you want that product to stand out, add something small to it to make it stand out. And what it does is it increases the value to your potential buyer. Let me give you an example. So let's say I have a coffee cup. Now this coffee cup I want to sell. It's got the Longhorns University logo emblem on it from here in Austin, Texas. And I want to sell this on Amazon. But let's say there's 40 other people already selling this coffee cup. And if they already have 60, 40, 500 reviews, my chances of being noticed are extremely slim, and I'm probably wasting my time unless I differentiate. And how do you do that? Well, let's say I decide, since a lot of people who drink coffee like syrup, I decide to put in this bottle of syrup along with it. Now I'm going to be one of my goals in this channel, guys, is to be very raw and transparent. I'm not going to give you rosy stuff. You're not going to find me, posing in a car to try to act, I'm a badass, look at my cool car. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be real, okay? I drive a minivan, by the way, and it's the most badass minivan in the world. I'm going to add this as an accessory or a complement to the coffee cup. Or I could go with something even cheaper like a little scooper for scooping the grounds into the grinder before you grind to make your coffee, pour your coffee in your cup. What that means is everyone who looks at this coffee cup is going to be like, okay. Well, I get syrup with it. Or, well, I get a scooper with it. I just differentiated myself. And I increased the chances that the buyer is going to see more value in me than others, which means I have a much greater chance of buying. Now, listen, it does take more time to add on that accessory. You have to go find a supplier or a place or a factory where you can get that. But once it's set up, and once you have your product shipped to Amazon, and it's in their warehouse, and you go on with your day, and the sales just start to come in, ching, 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 it was worth it. So take the time to differentiate yourself. One of the most coolest examples I love about differentiation is one day I'm in Cup of Austin, one of my favorite coffee shops in Austin, and I'm sitting there, and there's this guy there, and he and I just start talking. I forget how. And he has this business card, and he gives it to me. And it says, zig when others zag. That's differentiation. Even his business card talking about differentiation did it. He differentiated himself. He was different than from what everyone else is doing. I remember that business card. Do you know how many business cards I've probably received in my life? Like probably thousands. That's the only business card I remember except for my own. Not that mine were amazing, but just because they're my own. Let me give you one more tip on how to differentiate, okay? So we talked about how to differentiate adding an accessory. Now I'm going to give you something completely different when it comes to how you describe your product on Amazon. And I'm going to go to my screen for this part. So I go to this web address right here. It's the 100 top sellers on Amazon. And I'm looking for an item to buy and sell. I want to buy it from a supplier and I want to become a competitive seller here and make a lot of money doing it. So let's say I go to electronics. We'll start there. Electronics is a massive multi-billion-dollar category. And in electronics, I start noticing various things, and I'm going to go to, let's say, accessories and supplies. The profit margin on accessories is almost always higher than on a typical item. For example, your profit margin on a computer battery is going to be much stronger than your profit margin on the computer itself. And I'm going down, and I notice here we have a speaker right here, metal-based speaker. So I click on it. So I want to differentiate myself using this speaker? Well, in this situation, I might sell a set of very simple, basic headphones to go along with it. I also am going to give it my own logo so that no one else can list this item, because as you can see, this item is being listed by more than one seller. Totu, Rolling Fire, and Summerfield Sylvia. Now, what do I do though if I find an item that does not have perfect 5-star reviews? So for example, look at this right here, guys. Check out this cable. This USB cable, notice this, the reviews are high, and I want to sell it. My goodness, it has 17,000 reviews. It's going to be hard to compete with unless I can do something different. Now watch. I'm going to hover over. I'm going to hover over this 5 stars, or the stars. And I'm going to go down to the 1 star, and I'm going to click on that. Right here on the right side, you see my 1 star, this 1-star review, not mine. It says, do not buy Fire Hazard. My goodness, I can't speak today. Sorry, guys. Fire Hazard. Cable melted and permanently fried my iPhone 6s Plus. That's really sad. So I'm going to make a list now of all the negative topics in the negative reviews. So this one says, Fire Hazard, it melted the cable. Okay, that is good to know. Now I'm going to come over here, right up here at the top left. Now I'm going to click on 2-star. All right, what is the 2-star? Charge in melted without being connected to a device. Do you see a theme here? Now I'm going to go down to this 2-star. Cover cable cut short. Was not happy with quality cable. Got this as a replacement. Was happy with 6 feet long. Hoping to prevent bending of cables. Within 1 week I could see inside of cable by lightning cable connector. They cut cover too short. So I think they're referring to the cover that goes over the end of the cable right there. All right. Stop charging from time to time. Okay, so once I've got an idea of the most common complaints about this product, I'm going to make a list of those. So there's one thing I notice the most right now, and that is the cable melts. It's heating up for some reason. So now I'm going to go to a supplier, and I'm going to find a supplier on Alibaba or on DHgate, and there are other places you can do this too. But for fun, let's just say USB cable, okay? And I'm going to find a supplier who has at least a 2 or higher gold star rating. See the stars right here? See the star right there? And once I find one, I'm going to contact that supplier and I'm going to pay for a sample. Now, I will pay a lot of money for the sample. Like what should cost me $2 may cost me $20 plus $10 or $20 in shipping. But it's worth it. Because when I get that sample, and actually I'm going to get not just one, I'm going to get 5 samples. I'm going to test it. And I'm going to test it on multiple laptops, multiple computers, multiple scenarios, and phones, and find out if this has an issue with heating up. I'm also going to ask the supplier ahead of time, do you guys have this issue? If I can verify it doesn't, I'm going to go back. I'm going to buy a whole bunch, several thousand. And if I need to do minimum order quantity because I have less cash, like 100, that's fine too. And once I do that, I'm going to create my listing. And when I create it, in the topic right up here, I'm going to say about my cable, USB cable, whatever, 3 feet, does not melt or does not overheat. It's been tested, it's been proven, and I just differentiated myself. Therefore, some people who shop very deep and look at the reviews, when they see a few like this, there's no freaking way they're going to buy it. And then they see another one that says been tested, been proven, it does not melt. Their chance of buying your product is way higher because what you did is you leveraged off of the weakness of a competitor's product, you leveraged that to your own strength. The other day I'm standing in one of the condos that we're preparing to rent out in Austin, and I'm looking at my phone, and I realize we have almost $400 came in the last 24 hours. And I'm not talking revenue, it was a lot more than 400. I'm talking about profit. And at that moment, I actually called my assistant and said, could you verify this? And so she went through every single one of the sales, looked at the profit on each. We use a very clear spreadsheet, and it was like 379 something and some cents. Now, some days are better than this, some days are lower, but this is just one of 5 income streams. My goal of this is not to brag and say, oh, look how amazing I am. No, I started with a dime. My goal is, if I can do that, you can too. And on this channel, I'm going to share my best tips and most helpful advice I can, because I'm not worried about someone taking my advice becoming a competitor. You know why? The ocean is huge. There's lots of fish out there. There's no possible way we could take all of it for ourselves. There's plenty for everyone. And that's why, instead of me being all secretive, I'm not going to tell you it's a trade secret. Hey, I'm here to help you. That brings me joy to see you succeed. So again, my name is Seth. Seth Kniep, Kneeping It Real, because I like to be raw. If you get a chance, go to justonedime.com, and that's where I share my story of how, step by step, I started with the dime, doubled that just 20 times, and that became $100,000 and turned into passive income for my family. And that's what I love to do. I'm going to share with the world how to do that. I was broken, I was depressed, I was stressed, there was strain in my marriage, I was $24,000 in debt, and I thought, you know what, someday I'm going to be able to show people a dime and say, look, if I can do this, you can too. So I hope this has been helpful for you today. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you.